Hello, my name is Dr. Ben Browning, and I just want to take a little bit of time to cover 4 strategies to make your life easier as an online professor. So, we all know that being an online professor can have its own challenges and difficulties, and we want to minimize those difficulties as much as possible. So, let me just cover 4 things that will help you to make your life easier as a professor. So, these are tools or strategies, or even in some cases, just a change of mindset. So the first thing that we can do in order to make our lives a little bit easier as a professor is going to be setting up notifications. So one thing we want to do as a professor is to make sure that we're responding to students when they have a request or they send us a message or something like that. But sometimes it's hard to constantly have to go and log into Canvas all the time to see, okay, well, did I get any messages today? So the best thing for us to do with that is to set up notifications. Now, some of you have probably already done this, but if you haven't, this is an essential tool. So setting up notifications, what is this? This is to set up Canvas so that it will send you an email when someone has sent you a message or when someone has turned in a late quiz or something like that. You will get an email informing you, hey, a student has made a contact and you need to address that. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to share my screen really quick and let you get a look at that. So let's see here. Gonna share with you here. So first things first, as we look at how we do this, first thing you want to do is you want to go to your account settings. Now yours is going to look a little different than mine, but you want to go to your account settings, and then from your account settings, you want to make sure that you have an accurate email in. And the email that is accurate needs to have a star next to it. That means it's your primary email. So first things first, when we set up notifications, is we go to account, then we go to settings, and then we make sure that we have the correct email over here on the right and that there is a star there. Now, once we've done that, then we can go up here to notifications. So again, you go to your account, check your settings, then we go to notifications. Once you do that, you should see all kinds of, you should see the email. You might have more than one email here. You might have a separate thing that talks about push notifications. That's if you have the app, which I will talk about later. That's my number 2 thing that will make your life easier if you have the app. And what you essentially do here is now you can go down and see what things will it let you know about and notify you of. And then you can just come down to conversations or even discussions, and you can say, okay, you mark this, and that means that if a conversation, if you're added to a conversation, if you have an inbox message or something like that, if you have this marked, that means it will send a notification to this email, right? If you have 2 emails, you can have it sent to 2 emails, but that's unlikely that you would have that. And then you can even do other things like, scheduling setup times, different alerts. You can have a lot of different things that you can cause it to give you a notification for, but the main thing is those conversations with students, right? Or if there's a discussion and there's a new topic or reply, although that can get a little cumbersome, right? So that's the second one. That's the first one. Set up notifications. This will make your life so much easier if you set up notifications. So much easier. But what's number 2? What's the second thing that will make your life easier? And that is downloading the app. So Canvas has an app specifically designed for teachers. So if you go into whatever app store you use, whether that be Google Play, I'm an Android user, so most of my experience is there. So whether that be Google Play, or whether that be the iPhone App Store, the Apple App Store, whatever that is, you should be able to go on there and type in Canvas Teacher App, and you will be able to download that app onto your phone. I'm telling you, that has been a huge game changer for me. I only discovered the app a couple months ago, and it's been a huge game changer. One, because it notifies me when I have a student message. I can go and check my inbox immediately. That way, I'm able to give very quick feedback to students on that inbox. I know some of you prefer to go via email, but you're going to have students, they're just going to contact you in Canvas because that's what they're used to. And it's going to be much easier for you in the inbox there in Canvas if you have the app. You can also grade from the app, or you can do a quick check from the app. I've found it to be beneficial for me. A student asks me a question. I'm not near my computer, but I have 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm like, man, I really just want to address this question now so I don't have to do it later when I'm with the family or something like that. So I have 15 minutes now. Hey, I have the app. I can pull it up, and there's a good chance I'll be able to answer that question from the app. You have really good functionality in the app, at least on the Android side. Now, I'm not an iPhone user, but you know, it's probably going to have a pretty good interface on the iPhone user. I even use it to grading discussion boards or that kind of thing. If you just have a spare moment, that's private and secure. You don't have people looking over your shoulder. But if you have a spare moment in a private area where you can grade, the app allows you to do that. So maybe instead of surfing Facebook or some other type of social media, maybe you'll do some grading, right? So what's number 3? So I've given you 2. What's number 3? Now, this one is less of a function of Canvas, and this is more of a mindset change. Now, I've had a couple of seasoned professors tell me this, and I found it to be a really helpful way of thinking about online teaching. So this is embracing a credit hour mindset. So number 3 is embracing a credit hour mindset. What that means is think of your online class like you would think your in-person class. If you were teaching an in-person class, you were going to expect to be that week, at the very least, in front of those students, putting 3 hours of time in front of them working with students. So the idea with online is you should expect of yourself the same thing. Expect to spend an hour for every credit hour, an hour of your time for every credit hour on online classes. And it can be tempting in an online class for you to say, oh, wait, I'm not in front of the student. I'm not face to face with them. So, and then most of my video lectures are already recorded, and I got a lot of auto grade stuff. So, hey, I don't have to worry about it. This class is on autopilot. It's not. It's not on autopilot. You still need to be interacting with your students. You still need to be responding to discussion boards, responding to messages, reaching out to them. You still need to be grading. There's a lot of grading. I would say in most cases, there's a lot more grading in an online class because that's replacing some of the face-to-face time. So you are going to need to just accept that, hey, with a normal class, in-person class rather, I will spend 3 hours a week dealing with this class at least. On an online class, I'm going to have that same mindset. I'm going to spend a credit, 1 hour per credit hour. It's a 3 credit hour class. I'm going to spend 3 hours doing this. So for 3 hours, I should be 3 hours a week at least. I should accept that I'm going to be giving feedback on student assignments, responding to discussion boards, grading, responding to emails. And if you have that mindset, honestly, that's going to make things a whole lot easier for you, because you're going to be thinking, oh man, I have carved out time in my week and in my mind to know, hey, I'm spending 3 hours a week or 2 hours if it's a 2-credit-hour class. All right, so number 4, what's the last one? The last one is preset announcements. Now, this is huge because announcements are a way of you letting your students know, hey, I'm your professor, I'm engaged, and I'm here, I'm telling you about the class every week. Because remember, unless you're the person that developed the course, there is a very good chance that the students are going to see a totally different professor in all of their lecture videos. Yet they're going to be being graded by you. They're going to be getting an email from you, getting emails from you and asking you questions. So you need to have some touches. You need to have a way of showing them, look, I'm your professor. I am actively involved in this class. I'm communicating with you. I'm walking through this process with you. And announcements are a major way of doing that. Obviously, things like feedback and prompt grading, those are also helpful things. But announcements, whether they be a text announcement or whether they be a video announcement, are a key way of you communicating with the students. But let's be honest, when you do announcements, it's on a Monday, or maybe you do it at a different day of the week, but it's a Monday, it's the beginning of the week, things get busy, and you're like, oh man, when am I going to have time to sit here and type up our announcement or do an announcement video? Well, that's where you can use the strategy of preset announcements. And let me show you how to do that. So here you can see, I'm going to go over to my particular course. I'm going to go over to my course, and I'm going to go over here. This is hermeneutics. This is just a test shell here. And I'm going to go to my course. You see my normal course here. Now, how do I set up announcements, specifically preset announcements? So you can go to announcements just like you normally would. Over here underneath the home thing to the left here, you'll click on announcements, and then it's going to take you here to, oh, I clicked assignments. Excuse me, make sure you click the right thing. You click on announcements here, and then once you click on announcements, then you have these announcements. So in this particular case, I went ahead and did some of these announcements. And you can see what I did here. I actually set them to post, right? And so what you can do with these announcements, if you make a new announcement, and we can just do, let's say unit 4, okay? And you can type whatever you want to type in here. This might be just something generic. Now, I have seen professors do this. Go ahead and do this for the entire semester. Especially if it's a summer semester, that's actually pretty manageable, right? If it's a summer semester. But I've seen professors do this months in advance. And what they do is they go in for each unit and they just do an announcement and they say, hello guys, this week is unit 4. We're going to be covering this topic. Hey, make sure you remember this assignment and be prepared for that. And then you can say that. It's generic. Yes, obviously we like personalized announcements, but what this generic announcement that you've preset maybe for the next month, what this does for you is it allows you to have at least one touch every week. So especially as you go through a busy part of your semester, you can have at least one touch every week where you're showing the students, hey, I care. Now, obviously, you're going to do other announcements in that. Oh, there's a big paper. I'm going to do a video announcement or something like that. So in these announcements, you can do a couple of things. You don't just have to type something. You can also link to a YouTube video, or you can embed a YouTube video. You record a video of yourself, you put that on YouTube, and then you go to the share function, and there's a place that says embed. You click that, and then when you click that, it'll give you a code that you can copy. Then you click here, and you can put it right there, and that will actually embed your video in the discussion. Or you could just simply hit the link button and just put the standard link there. But you can do a video announcement, and that's really helpful. But I said preset announcements, right? I said, how do we do a preset announcement? Well, for a preset announcement, what we want to do here is then come down and do our final functions here. So you can do delay post, okay? So when you hit delay post, it'll say, what date do you want to delay the post? So I can just say, okay, I want to do my post on July 3rd. Okay, I want to do it on, I want it to release on July 3rd at 8 o'clock a.m. First thing in the morning, beginning of the workday in the morning, there they get it. Well, now when we set it to publish, what it's going to do is it's going to delay that posting. And again, you can do this for the beginning of each one. So some ways this would be helpful if you're like, man, there's no way that I am going to plan out my announcements for the entire semester. That's fine. That's totally fine. But you may say, man, next week is going to be a major society meeting or convention, or I'm going to have to do some traveling, and it's going to be really hard for me to do an announcement. That's what this is super helpful for. You can go ahead and do an announcement, say, hello class, this week we'll be doing unit 4. Just a reminder, make sure that you get into the discussion boards. Make sure you start studying for the exam. It's coming up soon. Your sectional exam's coming up soon. Be prepared, right? So you can do that. And especially if you can do that with a video, that is so much more engaging for your students. And this function helps you. Also, while we're at it, you can allow students to comment by clicking allow users to comment. And you can also allow them to like or dislike what, well, really won't allow them to dislike, but just allow them to like what you say. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how to do that. And then you just hit publish. Then once you hit publish, you can see it pop up here, but it's not going to release yet. It's not visible. So you'll see it come up as delayed until. So I've got some that have already posted, and I've got this one delayed until. So my hope is that these four things will make your life just a little bit easier. Again, just a reminder, what are those? First of all, set up your notifications. That way you're going to get email reminders or push notifications if you have the app. Download the app, the Canvas Teacher app. It's pretty widely available in whatever app store you're using. Embrace a credit hour mindset. I am going to use, this is a 3-hour class, I'm going to spend 3 hours at least a week. I accept that. I'm going to carve out that time to do that. And then preset your announcements. It's such an easy function. I know I'm going to be out of town. I know I'm going to be busy. Preset my announcements so that my students know that I'm actually involved. The last thing my students want is to think, man, my professor, hasn't told me anything about the class this whole month. I'm not getting any interaction from him. He takes 2 days to answer his emails because he doesn't have notifications set up or whatever, right? So these tools will help you so much. So I just encourage you to take advantage of these. They will make your life so much easier, and it'll make your students' experience so much easier.